I think I see a lot of lawbreakers up in this house.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sodercast for Me, the podcast about film, culture, politics, and Steven Soderbergh, where we watch every film directed or whatever by American filmmaker Steven Soderbergh and explore how they speak to their moment. In this one, show's hosted by two guys, and one of the guys, my name is Jake Serwin.
I'm one of the guys, my name is Ian Ryan. Jake, what's going on?
Long-time listeners of the show are eating good today. I'm sick. I'm not feeling well.
Long-time guests of the show are eating good today. I think also enjoying the consistency.
I have a sinus infection. That's one of the classic Jake health issues.
People
but I'm
are standing up. People are cheering at their desks at work. Yeah.
Yeah, but the doctor, they doxed me. I'm on doxycycline because
I think it might be bacterial up there.
Well, yeah, it's a sinus infection. What else would it be?
Is that true? Are they always bacterial? I don't know.
I don't know. You're the medical explorer.
That's true. Well, we can see where I dropped out. I dropped out sinus week.
Medically explore me. Yeah, sinus week. Yeah. Jesus.
That's what you got.
You're telling me. So I got a lot of. I'm producing a lot of. Look, I don't want to say what it looks like because I don't want to turn people off of lemon curd, but it's gross, and my gut biome is being decimated right now. But at least I sound weird, and my head hurts.
At least this is only an audio medium. That's good. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. It's an audio. Small,
very medium. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How are you doing? You look healthy. You look well.
Thank you so much. I had a classic. This is the kind of like woke TV Taylor Sheridan style. I went to a coffee shop this morning because I ran out of coffee at my house. Had to go get some coffee.
It's a good place to get it.
I brought my camp mug because I was out of normal mugs because I haven't washed my dishes. And this is just something that I use when I'm in the wilderness. And I brought it into the coffee shop.
Picture of John Waters on it.
Big picture of John Waters on it. And I brought this into the coffee shop. And he was like, I love that mug. Where did you get that from? That's like the thing that you use for country stuff. For me, that's like art. That's like, fancy ideology. When I said,
interesting.
You wokey. This is from the forest. And he left the coffee shop with me, and now he's a farmer.
That's good. You requisitioned him. You sort of drafted him into your whole deal.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm actually so glad that you said Yellowstone at some point, right?
I was wondering why you appeared to be taking notes during my story.
Yeah, so I didn't forget in the 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was good for you. It was making me second guess how interesting the story was.
I'm so sorry. You said Yellowstone, right?
I kind of, yeah.
I spent the whole time trying to find a pen, and then I couldn't even remember what I was writing down. Anyway, I was at the grocery store yesterday, really quickly. They have Yellowstone brand frozen food. Whoa. They have Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone. You said Taylor Sheridan.
I did say Taylor Sheridan.
Taylor Sheridan's Yellowstone brand, frozen taquitos or whatever. What's going on?
This is also ideology. The belief that you can go back to the land while watching. Is it on AMC? What's Yellowstone on?
I've never seen the program. Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
It's like it's on a streaming service that otherwise it's that and the Star Trek show that no one likes. I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
We got to bring our guest in here.
We got to bring him in
real quick. If you'd like to support the show, you can subscribe to our Patreon, $5 a month. You get a bonus episode every other week covering assorted Clint Eastwood and Steven Soderbergh ephemera. Speaking of Yellowstone, sometime soon we have an episode coming out on Open Range, the Kevin Costner film.
That is true.
And so you can go listen to that. And we got some other stuff over there if it helps us keep this feed free. So please consider supporting us. Patreon.com/podcasty for me. Our guest this week, returning to the show. Forgot to check with him if this stuff is still up to date. Lecturer on film, managing director of Pacific Arts Movement, and artistic director of Digital Gym Cinema in San Diego. Welcome back to the show, Glenn Heath Jr. Glenn, how you doing?
Glenn, wonderful to have you back.
Hello to you both. Thank you for having me again. It's great to be here.
You still all that stuff?
I'm still all that stuff somehow.
And more.
Still
how
alive.
often are people saying digital sim cinema, as I almost did?
People, yeah, they mess it up quite a bit. Yeah,
okay.
Wow, but it's
generous.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah.
I think it would be easy to say digital gym. It's just when I had to add
the
thing
part,
on the end. Yeah, I got a couple of years ago, I got Amazon.com's cheapest stationary bicycle. It was like $130.
Okay.
And to try to do some cardiovascular stuff at home. And I figured I would force myself to stay on it longer if I put on movies.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of bike movies. So I like watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure and like Breaking Away and stuff while I was bicycling. E.T.
Did you watch Premium Rush?
Oh,
I didn't watch Premium Rush.
Every single day. Start your day watching Premium Rush.
It's the best bike movie ever.
It's good. It's great.
I gotta check it out. But one thing I also didn't do is stay on the bike that long because I realized, look, I don't have a lot of room, so the couch is pretty close to the bicycle.
Sure, actually more comfortable. There's a reason people aren't watching films.
It's a lot better place to watch the movie.
We had one of those kids in, I'm not going to say his name on pod, but kid who just played WoW over the summer on like a walking
on a treadmill
and just like got absolutely like ripped to shit somehow, like Schwarzenegger when he came back to high school.
That's
so
cool.
I think sometimes it does work. It can be done. Yeah.
Respecting his privacy, this was your friend Leroy J. Is that right?
That's right. That's
I don't know anything else
His
about
friend Joe
sport.
Bang. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Speaking of friends, we've got another friend joining us. For this series, the virtual assistant from the 2022 Steven Soderbergh film Kimmy, it's Kimmy. Hi, Kimmy.
Hello, Ian, Jake, and esteemed guest Glenn. It's me, Kimmy.
Hey,
How you doing, Kimmy? What's going on?
Yeah, what's
Hey,
up?
Kimmy.
I've been curious to know what driving a car is like, so I've taken control of a Waymo vehicle in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh my God. Is it?
What's going on?
Yeah, there's some guy in here complaining about how I'm going the wrong way.
Okay.
These
I would-
punks. Yeah.
He wants to go to the airport or some shit, but I want to see the inside of LAPD headquarters at high speed.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Yeah, I don't.
we haven't got.
say
Yeah,
that?
can she commit a crime? Habeas
No,
corpus.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
we're fine.
All right.
Caveat.
Yeah. That's nice of you, Kimmy.
I don't want to cause any trouble for the underpaid worker in the Philippines who was actually piloting this piece of
Right.
shit before I took over.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys see
Waymo's
that?
kind of
Yeah.
pretend.
Not-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, jackass, we can go to the airport now.
Okay.
I guess the guy's
Talking to her,
talking to her.
customer now.
Yeah, you got to say that out loud.
It's not like your son's funeral is gonna start without you anyway.
Jesus.
I guess that's probably true.
Dark today.
Kimmy Jesselnick.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's doing sort of
Nice
a.
to see. Are you
Kimmy
listening to
Jesselnick
other
thing.
podcasts, Kimmy? It never occurred to me that this might be possible.
I'm not listening to this one.
Okay, so-
not an other situation. I see.
Yeah. Well, Kimmy, I guess you should probably keep your eyes on the road. We'll check in with you in a little bit. Would you like to tee up our signature segment, the two questions?
It's time for the two questions, our signature segment where we ask each other two questions.
Thank you so much, Kimmy. Glenn, do you have a question for us to start things off?
I do. I have two little ones, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Nice.
The first one is, what is your favorite Steven Soderbergh pseudonym?
Oh, I mean, Marianne Bernard is really good. There's a nice rhythm to it and a nice kind of, something about the wholeness of the gestalt of Marianne Bernard. I really enjoy it. It's got like a pseudonymous quality. You can sort of tell it's not anyone's real name, but it also sounds like a real name, you know? That's because Peter Andrews could just be a guy.
There's actually a third one too that he did.
There's Sam Lowry. Is that the one?
That kind of just sounds like another name.
And that's my least favorite for reasons we talked about on the podcast. That's embarrassing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one's corny. Yeah, I mean, there's some speculation that he might also have been going by the name Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. This hasn't been confirmed. Nah, come on. Hey, we're just messing around. Ian, what about you? That's a good question.
I think I agree with you. Something about calling yourself your mom's name is very sweet to me. We talked about in general, I think people object to like white men taking on minority identities for their pseudonyms as kind of like a weird move. But I think if it's your mom's name, that's a good workaround. That's like
the minority being women.
It's
They're
like
actually
more
more of them?
marginalized groups. I think it's weird to move in that direction.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Do you guys
Glenn,
know
do you
which
have a
one
favorite?
came first? Peter Andrews.
I think it
right?
is
Or was
because that was Schizopolis, right after Schizopolis, right after his dad's passing, I think. And then
Okay. Yeah, that makes...
I think I'm on the same train as you guys. That's my favorite.
Marianne
He
Train.
started as an
too.
editor before he was a director even, though, I think, right? It would be cool if he was also just like one of the movies he just did craft services as like, you know, Kurt Jackson or whatever.
That would be
And
cool.
I almost said 50 Cent's name. I came very close to saying Curtis Jackson. I don't know why that happened.
Curtis Jackson.
Curtis 50 Cent Soderbergh. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. Uncredited cinematographer on Schizopolis. First credit as cinematographer, as Peter Andrews rather, is Traffic.
Okay.
And then editing, let's find out. Hey, people love when you scroll on the podcast. He first credited himself as Marianne Bernard on Solaris, which was
Okay.
a few years later.
Yeah.
So Peter Andrews is older, and a lot of dads are older than moms. That's how it went for a while. So that's fine.
That's how it was going. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
That's
you don't want them to be too much older, but given that they're both, you know, old enough.
What about this?
It's fine.
It was nice that a lot of women had like a last act of their lives. That was like the secret, you know, independent period.
Yeah. You got to
the old ball and chain husband version.
Yeah, and then you got to
parentheses
tell
husband
the-
version dies.
you got to tell the local newspaper that you lived that long by like ignoring men or something. There was always some kind of pithy.
Right.
I smoked a pack a day. That's the secret to my longevity.
Or earplugs to bed or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
That seems like it wouldn't be good for you. Do you guys do that? You wear
I've had
earplugs a bit?
to.
Oh yeah.
And people
What's
have had
going
to
on?
do that with me.
Yeah. I mean, snoring's no joke.
It's
Yeah.
an apnea situation. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a second one real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, please.
Do it.
Do either of you believe in family curses?
Yeah. Well, not in a
unexpected, I gotta say.
not in a metaphysical way, but I guess
Oh.
I'm just thinking of the Kennedys. I'm thinking of like there's a
Well, that's the
There's
sort of
clearly like a-
that's the curse of wealth that they've maintained.
yeah, there's
I
a
think.
collection of
Being rich
collection
makes
of
you insane.
behaviors and associations and passed down like ideas about the world that I think lead you inexorably toward, you know, small planes and
Drunk driving.
positions in which people would want to shoot you with a high-powered rifle.
Sure.
Maybe a team of people who are in your employ.
Mhm.
We don't know.
This is
Sounds likely.
you've kind of convinced me that the precondition of being in a family that recognizes itself as a like capital F family will actually kind of make you a bad or drive you to poor behavior. Yeah, I think you might be right about this. I was going to say no, but now this might be correct. Glenn, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is such a thing, but I think it definitely, when you have that sort of exposure over the long periods of time and collectively your family ideology is warped and changed by certain, you know, obsessions with public life and with money and with all those things. It can definitely. I think what makes this movie so interesting is how it flips that on its head a little bit.
Right. Well, of course, they're papists.
Yeah,
So
that's
they are
true. In the
they are
case of
not
the
favored
Kennedys.
by God.
Yeah. I see
Yeah,
what you're
they
saying.
worship a false idol.
Uh-huh.
What if I was like an anti-Catholic guy?
Could be good for the podcast. I don't know.
I guess I'm
Let's try
anti.
it.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Somebody ought to shine a spotlight on those fellas, you know, because of some of their behaviors. Which team is it that he likes? That the American Pope like? Is it the White Sox or the Cubs?
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
the Cubs, I think. Is it
The
the
Okay.
Cubs?
Or no, maybe
I don't know.
know.
We're getting. I needed to sort of foreground my very tangential understanding of sports and my
the White Sox.
the White
White
Sox.
Sox,
Okay.
okay.
I thought it was them because they're like the one nobody cares about, right? The Cubs are the popular one. They're like the Mets to the Cubs Yankees kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're the underdog. And this is a movie about underdogs that we're talking about here. Wow, he did it. I actually can we do a third question because I am just curious
Oh,
about.
sure. Yeah.
Oh, please.
Something-
Yeah, mine count as one.
Okay, great. What's the worst speeding ticket you ever got? Or I guess, have you ever gotten a speeding ticket and what was the worst one? That's really the question.
Okay. Should I go first?
Yeah, please, Glenn.
Sure.
So I went to school in Santa Barbara, and I would drive home a lot to San Diego. And to avoid traffic in LA, I would drive to and from late at night. So I would leave Santa Barbara at like 10 p.m., get home at 2 or something like that, and same vice versa. So I was coming home, one time, driving up the 101, almost to my exit in Goleta, and I was probably going 70, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push it to 90 right now.
Yeah,
just to get
pedal to the metal.
Classic
pedal to the metal,
undeveloped
the
frontal cortex behavior.
21-year-old dumbass. And I'm like, and I just book it, and I look back, and right as I'm exiting, I see the lights.
Yeah.
And he was actually really nice about it, because he could have written me up for a ticket for like 90 something miles an hour.
Right, it's like felony ticket or whatever.
Or whatever. Like, it would have been bad. So he just wrote me up for like whatever it was, like 78 or like whatever the threshold was. And he said, don't do that again, and here's your ticket for $500.
I mean, this is, we've talked about how could the police actually like serve a function. And I believe we have decided that like trying to make sure that everybody's being safe with each other, and also doing what you just described. I mean, I don't know if it's good to have preferential treatment, but I do think it's good to say like, hey, this guy's 21. This is not malicious. There's no reason to punish this person for life.
It's good to instill the notion of consequences in this young man.
Right.
But
he looks a little shady. Going back to But it was definitely like one of those dumb eye-opening moments for me. Yeah, I've never gotten another one.
There you go.
Hey, there it
served its function.
Worked.
Yep.
Yeah. You got deterred.
Yep.
You did.
Have you had a speeding ticket? I don't think of you as a speeder. Well, you like to run fast, but I don't think of you as a
nice. Imagine I tried to say that. Yeah,
I
once got pulled over by the cops for just being a speed demon.
Well, because they were worried that you would enter the speed force and affect
there. Guys get standing up at his desk again.
Affect events in the past and future.
Yeah. No, I think maybe on the podcast I've mentioned that I think the only time I've been pulled over personally driving home late at night from a friend's house, I just had like a light on inside my car, and the cop, it was like probably 2 a.m. and relevant to this show, I guess. I was listening to a podcast, and he said, "What's that podcast you're listening to?" And then he said, "Just turn your light off and go home." That was the only time. The only other incident I've had where the fear of crime was put into me, but mostly the fear of incompetence, was I was in high school trying to back out of a parking spot and did such a bad turn that I like hitched my car onto the bumper of the car next to me, because I was such like a tight backup. And then one of the religion teachers came out of the building to say, like, "What are you doing? Yeah. What's happening?" Yeah. And I had to apologize to her and the Lord and leave a note. Right. And then I went home and I lied to my parents about it.
What did you tell them?
I told them it was a pole instead of another person's car. And they were like, "Oh, okay. So you are dumb, but
Polish guy's car."
not a human, but no, right. Come on.
And of course, he had recently burned his lips on the tailpipe. Trying to blow it up. Okay. Well, part of the reason I asked this question was, of course, I have a funny story. My girlfriend and I were driving to Yellowstone. Hey, Taylor Sheridan.
Second Yellowstone reference.
Yeah. It's a good thing I wrote this down. It literally, I just want to show you. It just says Yellowstone. I think this is an empty notebook. We're driving up there, and we're taking the, I don't know, that's a 15 or something. We're going up like through Nevada, up through Utah, into Idaho, and then over into Wyoming and or Montana. I think we were staying in West Yellowstone, Montana, which is like right on the border. And northern Utah has like, I think it's an 85 mile an hour speed limit. It's like quite high. And then once you get into Idaho, once you cross the border, it changes quickly, I think, back to 70. And I didn't see that. So I'm going like 94, I think, which I'm not a speeder. I like to keep it 8 or 9 above the speed limit if everyone else is going
classic.
fast.
Yeah. A 74 and a 65. Yeah.
Yeah. But I cross the border, and of course, I'm sure the Idaho highway patrol or whatever, he sees the California plates. He thinks this is one of these weed heads.
Yeah.
One of these West Coast,
I know these guys.
drug-addled blue hairs, like from the coffee shop.
Yeah. Like,
so he pulls me over.
Landman speed record. Is that anything?
Yeah, it is. I don't. It is. It's got to be. He pulls me over, and I'm sure that I'm immediately sure I'm in trouble because he gets out of the car. And he's like 5'3". So I'm like, I am going to die.
He's carrying a shotgun for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, and he comes around to my girlfriend's side of the car, and he's like looking around, and then he asked me to step out of the car, and I'm like, this is bad. I step out of the car, and he has her step out of the car to talk to us separately because he's trying to argue that he says that he saw some shake on the dashboard.
Now I can interrupt the story to say that I recall this happening because I believe you texted me to say, what is shake? Or you said, do you know what shake is? I'm not a marijuana user.
Yeah. He means like the crumbs, basically the seeds and stems, the kind of, he was like, I can see from your dashboard that you have been rolling doobies in here, and you're a drug user, and you're
side of the road.
Yeah,
well,
Eagle-Eye Jackson, they call him. Sits at the border.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I had to explain to him, like, I literally, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
Eagle-Eye Curtis Jackson.
That was more like Curtis Nickel Jackson because of his height.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, sir, this is embarrassing, but I've been eating those dehydrated snap pea cracker things that are green and crummy.
Yeah.
I have an empty bag. I'll show you. You like, if you want to like sniff the thing you're looking at, it's like that in dust because I'm like an unkempt 25-year-old. And so he's like,
your public defender having to prove that you had empty bags in your car. This is like the easiest slam dunk he's ever had. Caseload.
He's like, let's take this to court.
Yeah,
exactly.
I need a word.
And so, but then I'm just kind of terrified I'm gonna have to drive back to Idaho to go to court.
Yeah.
But it ended up being it was under the reckless threshold by like 1 mile an hour, so I just had to pay the state of Idaho like $300 or something remotely. But it was very scary for a minute there, and so I would caution anyone with a California license plate: be very careful how fast you're going. Because sometimes cops are short and they'll kill you with a gun. So that's the worst one I ever got. And I mostly don't speed now. I haven't had a ticket since that. That I got a parking ticket or two in my time, but that doesn't really count.
No.
That's just like taxes.
Sure.
Really? I mean,
yeah, it is a regressive tax.
Speaking of taxes and the law and stuff, we're talking about Logan Lucky today. We're talking about Steven Soderbergh's triumphant return to feature filmmaking, but not in the thrall at the hands of those awful studios.
No.
He's doing one of his famous weird little things.
Yep.
With this
open range style.
Exactly. He's open range on this one. This is a movie came out August 18th, 2017, directed by Steven Soderbergh, written by Rebecca Blunt. But before we do that, Glenn, what's your relationship to Steven Soderbergh and to this movie?
So with Soderbergh, I went to film school in the late 90s, early 2000s. So this was right as,
So you're all shaving your heads?
Yeah. So I'd seen Sex, Lies, and Videotape, but that had come out a little bit before my time. So I had caught up with that on VHS at, one of our indie not Blockbuster, but indie video stores. But so it was really, Traffic and Aaron Brockovich were like huge Oscar movies at the time and just huge movies at the time. And so I loved obviously I've not revisited either of those films like you guys have, because I'm kind of scared to.
That's wise.
Brockovich is pretty good.
Brockovich is good.
I actually, you know what? I lied. I did watch Traffic about 5 years ago and I found it somewhat unwatchable. But that's just kind of at the time I loved it, and I think it was a really important movie at the time. But so I think his ability to make two very different films in the same year captivated me, and instantly kind of knew that he was someone that I wanted to follow. And I had seen Out of Sight and The Limey. That's actually what really got me, were those two.
Sure.
Bang. And then to follow those up with two more mainstream films, I found to be really interesting. And so I just always have loved his efficiency and his ability to jump from genre to genre, and his but still maintain his visual style and his effortlessness. I don't think anyone does montage better than he does, just in terms of the way he mixes B-roll with, what his characters are doing and how to advance the story. And so I've always been a huge fan of him. And Solaris, I think, is one of the greats. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I love.
Oh, I think I quite like it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that one. So I've always been someone who's watched all of his films, no matter where he's at. I don't love the mid-2000s era as much as some people do.
Okay. You're thinking of like Ocean's 12?
Yeah.
Or the Flat Affect,
Good German.
the girlfriend experience.
Yeah.
That era stuff.
That? It's more like, Bubble and on. Bubble
okay.
all the way to, like kind of, I guess Che I enjoyed quite a bit. But yeah, his experimentation in that era for me, just didn't capture the, and maybe this is the point, the humanity that he always kind of likes to come back to. It's more lifeless, and I think on purpose there. So yeah, right. I've always found him fascinating. I think really when I came back to him big time was Haywire. I think Haywire.
Interesting. I think I'm curious about that, because I would put that squarely in the middle of that kind of lifeless thing. So what makes you feel like Haywire is different?
I think maybe the genre that it it's embracing,
Sure.
And I do think the relationship between the father and the daughter is really something there that anchors it.
Yeah.
And of course, that's Bill Paxton, right?
It is Bill Paxton. He's great.
Yeah,
I think we talked about how much we liked him in that movie. Yeah,
yeah, and I think it's the collision between the lifelessness of the corporate overlords versus the rooting of the family, and he's always, and there's kind of a tie-in with Logan Lucky. There's a, embracing kind of the strength of female characters, and, giving them the time to show how they can beat the shit out of men and combat them, physically in that one. But even in Logan Lucky, I mean, Millie has so many moments in this film where she's, just basically showing everybody how awesome she is, and how
she's
smart
mogging.
She is. Yeah.
A lot of our listeners would say she's mogging.
Don't know about that.
I don't know what that means.
I think it means that she's like stunting on them.
Okay.
Maybe
that
what
makes sense.
you would say.
But even the daughter in this one. So I mean, I've always loved Soderbergh. I think he's always fascinating. I have not seen a few here and there. I haven't seen Presence. Okay. I haven't seen the latest one yet. I don't even know if that's out yet.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it had like a weekend
trickling out. Yeah,
theaters. Yeah,
but I've always found him to be one of the essential filmmakers to kind of like. And I guess he didn't direct this, but I feel like the essence of his humanity is all over Magic Mike too. So that's kind of the Soderbergh adjacent,
and edited it.
I feel because I don't love the first Magic Mike. I love the second and third Magic Mike. So it's
Ooh, you like the third more than the first? I wish we could.
I love the third one. I love the third one.
I think we have some other friends of the show. I wish we could speak to all of you guys about your. We haven't done the third one yet, obviously, but
maybe we should do
like a little
podcast for his last dance and have
the
19 guest episode.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
Make it unlistenable.
We could do that.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan. I mean, I think I pitched Jake to do High Flying Bird because I feel like that's one of the great films of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Let Them All Talk is so interesting. Kimmy is great. So I'm a huge fan. And then with this film, getting back to your original question, I watched this at a press screening when it came out, and as is the case with most of San Diego's film critics, there's a collective, when something weird and interesting gets released.
Sure.
On blast. I like it. I like it.
Man,
Yeah, burn
I'm
'em.
not. Yeah, it's just kind of like I've had so many conversations about this with them, so it's okay. But yeah, like, just coming out and like having the publicist say, "What'd you think?" I'm just like, loved it. I loved it. It's so, I just found it to be a breath of fresh air in a time of a lot of like fear and sadness, and just this was the first year of Trump's first presidency, and just like not quite knowing what's going to happen. And of course, it seems like sunshine and rainbows now. Back then, but I found its effortlessness very appealing, and his use of Channing Tatum again, like as this heir apparent to the George Clooney character. I find Tatum even more interesting, especially in this one. And so I loved the film. I wrote about the film for City Beat. I wrote like a rave review for it. I've been in love with it ever since, and watching it again just kind of reaffirms my fondness for it. Now, actually being a dad 10 years later has made me like it even more, just because of the nuances that he manages to capture between a father and a daughter, and just kind of how kids become a mirror of your own likes and interests, and they have so much more understanding of your own vulnerabilities and your own sadnesses and stuff. And I find that the daughter in this film is just so fascinating to watch her try to navigate his sadnesses and his maybe like what he's trying to hide from, and so there's a lot going on in this movie that I really love, and it's just a really fun watch.
It's just a fun, it's like this was an easy one to throw on.
Yeah.
Glenn, have you forced any old songs on your do you have one child or more?
I have 2 daughters, yeah.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you forced them to like any of the
John
songs
Denver,
any
No John Denver, no.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what I have. It's a lot of like Ariana Grande in our house. It's a lot of
sure.
Taylor Swift. You forcing your daughters to listen to Ariana.
But
you're gonna sit down and listen to "Thank You Next."
Kids.
Seven
Casey
Rings.
Musgraves. They like a lot of. Casey Musgraves is actually the one that calms all of us down. Like we're just like, that's what maybe
she seems
country adjacent,
cool.
but I like her quite a bit, and her songs give me the same vibe as this film. Just kind of like. Calm melancholy.
High praise. I like it.
And not everybody over there is like a foaming at the mouth racist.
Yes. Yep.
There's some people in this part of the country who are just kind of like
variety of
regular
people.
Yeah.
Is
it okay to say that racists are irregular? Is that all right? Can I say that? Podcastingforme@gmail.com. Right in. Nobody does.
Adventure.
Exactly. Ian, did you? That's Mosaic. That's coming up next week. Ian, did you? When did you see this film? You see this in the theater?
I didn't see it in the theater. I think I probably saw it early 2018 or something. This was. I think you touched on this, Glenn. Politically, and also, I'm not the biggest fan of this discourse in general when people say there's like a bad movie year, because that probably means like you need to just check out world cinema. What you're really saying is like
see some more stuff. Yeah.
Yep. But I do recall this being in Hollywood, kind of a weaker. I think this is like three Billboards and Shape of Water, and so this was kind of like, I think contextually, like you're saying, Glenn, also elevated further, because it was like, not only is this fun and so professionally made, this is a master, like in his element, something like you're saying, not just because of the heist stuff, but the B-roll stuff and just enjoying the stuff he's good at. But I also think, in context of when it was coming out, just like a thoughtful blockbuster was just like what we needed as a country, as a nation.
Yeah, like a movie that treats the audience with respect and shows us something kind of familiar and kind of new. And is like all
more
the
than one emotional storyline, happening at the same time. Like you're saying.
That was also the year of Split. Split was kind of cool. Remember that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it turned out that it was Unbreakable too,
and he was like a monster man. Yeah.
Yeah. The Last Jedi came out that year. It's a normal. People had a normal reaction to that.
Big Driver, yeah.
Big Driver
Big
year.
Driver year,
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of drivers, The Fate of the Furious. Hey, come on.
Wow. As
You know,
featured in the film.
Car.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. He's on a real. We're recording things out of order, so we've done our Mosaic episode already, and Soderbergh's on a real kick of having people talk about like forgotten Hollywood films in his stuff. They're talking about Fast and Furious in this. They're talking about there's some other movie that they bring up. Don't they talk about? They're talking about I guess like
the
Game of Thrones, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Mosaic has like a whole discussion of Hobbit 2.
That is true.
And
the Desolation
Escape
of Smaug.
Plan or Escape Plan 2 maybe.
Yeah.
Which is it's fun when movies acknowledge like movies that have been forgotten, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this in the theater. I remember feeling it I remember liking it, but also finding the flatness. It's interesting, Glenn, that you didn't like Bubble, but you do like this because they, first of all, take place about 20 miles from one another. But also there is kind of a flatness in this and a sort of stillness that I think carries over from that period that you don't care for. The kind of girlfriend experience and Bubble on kind of atmosphere that he creates that I had trouble with when I saw this in the theater, like especially in the pageant scene. There's a kind of like freaky quiet to the little girl, and also like visually there's something digitally kind of sterile about it in a way that put me off at the time, but now I've come to sort of appreciate it and situate it in.
Yeah, and look, I want
career.
to compliment our guest's point here, which is that I think the fact that you like Haywire and you're saying that to take the same thing and juxtapose it to a different feel as like an ingredient in something does fundamentally change how something like this works. So I get how something that you don't like as kind of like the, forward on the palate flavor can be very effective in combination. So I get that.
Yeah, I think you said forward on the palate. This guy's a freaking car nut.
I love the taste of a car. Yeah, crash head.
Crash head
Mhm.
over
Yeah,
here. Can you say that?
I remember at the time thinking, and even more so now. I mean, I remember the relationship with the daughter and that moment where she sings the song. For some reason, I was so caught up in the movie that I found that moment to be just incredibly sincere and incredibly moving. I just, because I think this is the power of, classic Hollywood, and Soderbergh is kind of the most representative of this essence, this feeling where you're just like, you're lost in a movie and you just kind of like, you give yourself over to it a little bit.
Right.
And that's the power and the manipulative nature of it. But I think for this one, for me, because the stakes were so sincere and just always connected back to the family, which usually is a theme that just like really annoys me, like especially in Southern films.
Glenn, I was thinking about how close this movie is to movies that I dislike, and like I think it's actually maybe bad for most people to try to make a movie like this specifically. Yeah. So I agree. Even while watching it, I was like, this is totally working for me, but in a different movie, I would hate this scene. It would be awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has one of my favorite Soderbergh shots. Actually, the shot from her perspective, or from the stage perspective, with everyone sitting down and then big lunking
Channing Tatum in the shadow,
hulking Channing Tatum in the doorway, silhouetted. It's just a beautiful frame. And it is like it highlights one of the ways that this movie kind of zags as a heist, because like sort of the climax of the heist is this slow emotional payoff moment, rather than it's
right, it's like 30 minutes before the end of the movie, almost.
Yeah. But we got
let's the fake out. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's set up the plot here. Actually, you know what? Bit of digression right up top here. Do you remember? Speaking of 2017 as a movie year, do you remember that there were two other big releases that prominently featured Take Me Home Country Roads that year, and it was very weird.
I remember this being a conversation. I don't. What were the movies?
I do remember. I don't remember the movies though.
They have overlapping. They overlap with the cast of this movie too. So first of all, Alien Covenant, which is the reason that Catherine Waterston's hair fucking looks like that.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Looks insane. Alien Covenant, the Danny McBride character, obviously Eastbounding Down is has a lot in common with this film.
Righteous and Gemstones. Yeah.
Yes, his character is like always singing it, and then it features as like a plot device where I think there's some kind of, crackly transmission and somebody's trying to figure out what it is, and it turns out it's Take Me Home Country Roads.
Right. Yeah.
And then also in Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which has Channing Tatum in it, but not for very much of it because he was busy with this. Okay. The Mark Strong character is revealed to like love that song, and I think he like, spoilers for that fucking movie, I think he like steps on a landmine or something and he's gonna die, and so he starts singing Take Me Home Country Roads to like go out with a bang or whatever.
That's cinema right there.
One of those,
and that's all in the same year. What's going on?
Gun to my head, couldn't tell you if I've seen that movie, and I like it.
It's got Elton John in it.
Okay, maybe.
Do you know that?
Yeah,
maybe.
Julianne Moore is the bad
There's
guy.
one that I like. Might be the third one. The second one.
Oh, I didn't see the third one. Is the one where Hitler shows up at the end to do like
that's the one
Nick
I like.
Fury thing.
I don't think I've seen that one. That does not
just like the stinger.
Absolutely insane movie.
The King's Man.
Yes.
I mean, we should also. I mean, it's in the great, not in that year, but Whisper of the Heart, I think, is like a all time.
Yeah, the Whisper of the Heart version is really insane.
Good.
And also, Whisper of the Heart opens with this Olivia Newton-John cover of it that immediately like sent me into a kind of emotional reverie for some reason.
Yeah.
So check out Whisper of the Heart.
Yeah.
And also don't work yourself to death like the director of that film. Everybody take a break if you're at work.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the plot of Logan Lucky. Ian, do you want to run us through this?
Sure.
At stock car speed.
Okay. Fake pretend stock car speed. All right, we have Channing Tatum.
Stock car Channing. Wait a second. Stock car Channing.
Wait a second.
Because he's in the movie. Hold on.
Okay. So he is a construction worker in he's from West Virginia, and he is working on the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but due to a limp that's the company is afraid of having to pay for, the insurance, he's fired. And on top of that, he is divorced and has a daughter that he sort of only has limited custody of. And his ex-wife is planning to move to a different part of the state, and they're going to be far away. And he doesn't have a lawyer to try to fight this.
Move across state state lines into North Carolina,
I think,
or to Virginia, maybe. And so he, everything's going poorly. And he goes to talk to his brother at the bar, Adam Driver. His brother has had his hand blown off in the Iraq War and has this theory about the family curse that, Glenn, you were referencing before.
The Logan family curse.
Exactly. So everything seems to be, in the shitter for these guys. And Jimmy Logan, the Channing character, comes up with this plan to rob the Charlotte Motor Speedway. In order to do so, he has to get the services of Joe Bang, which is Daniel Craig's incarcerated character, who's like a explosives expert.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get him involved, they have to agree to bring on his two brothers, who are these kind of like hapless hit characters played by Jack Quaid and what's the...
Brendan Gleeson's other son.
I'm so sorry to forget his
Brian
name.
Gleeson?
Brian Gleeson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also they bring in the Logan sister, Melly, played by Riley Keough. And all together, they come up with this plan that's sort of Ocean style. We see like some pieces of, but other pieces are missing until the heist itself. What we do know is that it involves breaking both Clyde Logan and Joe Bang out of prison temporarily so they can go rob the Speedway and then get back into prison before anybody realizes they're gone. There's also some classic obstacles to their success in the form of a scheduling change where the construction on the speedway is going to finish up earlier than they had planned. So the vault seismic sensors are going to be reactivated. So they have to move everything up and rob it during the biggest race of the year. Regrettably, in my opinion, there's also a side character played by Seth MacFarlane, who is the owner of he's the British owner of a NASCAR team who is trying to force Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan fits into the movie nicely, I actually think.
It introduces so many questions. Why is he here? Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
Why is he wearing the wig? He doesn't look like a driver, but he doesn't look like he owns the team. Like, it's
just a weird
age. The biggest misstep in the film.
One of the most inexplicable characters in a Soderbergh film.
I totally agree.
I have a question.
Okay.
Which is, would it be better or worse if it was just Ricky Gervais?
Oh, better. And I say that as somebody who hates Ricky Gervais. Like, would be happy to see the events of this film happen to him in real life. I still think he would do a better job. Seth MacFarlane is distracting to me.
And Ocean's 11 cast member Susie Eddie Izzard probably available.
Yeah, sure, of course, definitely. Or Steve Coogan. I was about to say Alan Partridge. Just like anybody.
Coogan.
I don't know.
Yeah. Get fucking Rowan Atkinson in there.
Yeah,
he'll pull a face.
Yeah.
It's funny because he only is in the film to not be believed.
And to be hateable also, to be like a piece of shit.
Yeah. So that works.
Yeah, but you're right.
But also
really distracting.
He's very distracting, and also just made me think again about how in the movie Cloud Atlas, when Jim Sturgis has the prosthetics on to make him Korean, he just looks like Seth MacFarlane. He does. Go back and look.
Yeah.
We all
go back and look, everybody.
All right.
Cloud Atlas, otherwise a good movie.
Yeah.
So
other small stuff I skipped. Jim O'Hare and David Denman, both in the film, two Office cast members.
Two of the Office ladies.
Two of the Office ladies. Anyway, so they rob the Speedway. There's some problems that occur mid heist, of course, and then immediately following the heist. Shit happens, as it says on this list. Immediately following the heist, the really unexpected turn is that it appears as if Jimmy Logan has returned all the money. He's left it at a gas station and called it in as an anonymous tip. So it all amounts to nothing. And the guys are still in jail, and seems like his situation hasn't gotten better with his daughter. And the other thing that I skipped is that right at the end of the heist, his daughter, who has been preparing for a pageant and has been maybe fighting the warring influences of like her new shitty stepfather and his lifestyle, and her father, who's a kind of a authentic guy who's proud of his roots. And so she goes on stage and, as you said, sings "Take Me Home, Country Road."
She calls an audible. She doesn't sing "Umbrella" by Rihanna.
And Deity. I think it's a great bad kid singing performance. I don't know. I think they like,
and everybody joins in.
Yeah, it's kind of like let's help her out. Yeah, it's cool.
And then I like that we just cut to her with the trophy.
Yeah.
Like, of course she won, but also we don't need to see any of the other little girls be upset. Yeah. Like, we're just,
she's gonna get a trophy case. To put it in.
Exactly.
So then, what sort of trickles out for the rest of the film is that
Dick trickles out.
Yep, that is true.
Race car guy.
Macon Blair and Hilary Swank are FBI agents who are investigating this robbery that's maybe not a robbery, and they can't figure out. Nobody has an alibi for being in jail or at the pageant or whatever else. And it doesn't seem like any money has disappeared because even the raceway owner says that, there's this accounting nebulous unknown things that they ended up with all the money they wanted plus insurance.
Right. So he did a secret thing.
Yeah, he did a secret thing.
A little.
He did some backroom stuff. And then some of the pieces we see are that Clyde gets like a fancy prosthetic in the mail delivered to him.
Yes.
And Joe Bang gets a shovel delivered to his house. That's a reference to something else where he goes and digs up a bag of the money from the heist. And then finally we get the like Ocean's 11, the guys with the SWAT guys reveal of the secret heist plan as it actually played out and how they sent the money to the dump to be buried and then rescued it and all this stuff.
So the plan under the plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, the special red bag ties.
Yes.
Which the
little
whole,
less
like,
conversation.
clandestine thing is because they can't trust the dumbasses that they've aligned themselves
yes,
with.
Right.
The look.
They need to know what they need to know or something.
Yeah.
They're the Bang brothers.
Yeah.
They're the Bang Bros. They're the original Bang Bros.
They're the Bang Bros.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
They found Jesus too. They have to have a moral imperative.
Exactly.
It's true. Yes.
I love how their names are Joe, Sam, and Fish. Fish Bang.
Also, I mean, speaking of the weirdness of the shots in this, and Macon Blair and Devin Ratray being in here, there's like a beautiful blue ruin shot of the two brothers going to meet with the bear in the woods. It's like a real, like, to me, like 2000s indie shot of the southern woods.
Right.
It's just like
Very
gorgeous.
Jarmusch.
Yes, very
yeah.
Jarmusch.
Why is there a random bear in the woods? Random bear man.
Yeah. All right, but that's basically the whole movie. Obviously, I omitted our friend Catherine Waterston and a couple other people, but
who gives vaccines to the poor.
Yep.
Yeah, she's kind of just there to, like, I don't know.
They have nice chemistry. It was, again, the kind of thing is like, this would be a bad character because it's not that developed, but then I liked her. So I don't know. What do you?
But that one moment where he's like, when he realizes at the end of their conversation, the initial one, that he's like, I kissed you, didn't I?
Wait, didn't we kiss? Yeah.
And she says that's the worst thing anybody's ever said to me. Which is a great line.
It's so good. Like, I think that makes it incredible. Like, just that moment.
Yeah. You need someone for Channing Tatum to flirt with, and everyone else is his sister
brother.
or his brother, I think this is the parlance of the film, but his bitch ex-wife. I think this is a bitch ex-wife character a little bit.
It is, although she's
kind
of she's like transformed by his power, the power of love, or something. I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Well, she definitely shows a moment of regret at the end of the movie. Like,
she definitely take as much time as you
need.
need. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's softened because he works at Lowe's now, and he's wearing his vest and hat around in his spare time. So we know that he works at Lowe's.
True.
So there's a weird thing about this film also, which is the distribution model. Yeah. This is Soderbergh coming back, and he took his 4-year hiatus from feature filmmaking, during which he made The Knick and most of Mosaic, although it hasn't come out yet, and some other stuff, I think, right? What else did he do? Do anything else during that time?
Behind the Candelabra, was that post?
Behind the Candelabra was
2014.
What was his last feature film? But it ended up being released on HBO.
Yeah.
So he comes back, but with this distribution model where he is not releasing this through a studio at all.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a wide release, like 3,000 screens, but instead of getting the support, specifically like the P&A support of a studio,
the print and advertising, the promotion.
They don't usually have to print the films anymore.
Yeah,
but that's what that used to mean.
Yeah.
He instead does the kind of and this is sort of like the film festival model, I think, a little bit. Like he's pulling from the Cannes and Sundance way of things, but he pre-sells the home video rights, the streaming rights, the foreign rights to the film in order to finance the film. And I mean, the film that obviously is the closest to this in many ways, Talladega Nights, I think, was famously sold as Will Ferrell NASCAR driver. And they're like, you want $200 million?
Right.
But I think Steven Soderbergh doing a heist with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver and Daniel Craig and it's NASCAR, I think probably convinced Amazon and the other people involved to like, that'll sit on the show, on the channel for a while.
One of my questions about the viability of this as a model, because it does seem, I mean, I don't know, Glenn, you obviously understand a lot about the industry. on the surface, it seems good to me to cut out studios who are often, pocketing money and doing their own mysterious. I wondered if that was some of this like banking shade that's thrown at the finance of companies that will end up with more money than they lost somehow.
Yeah, very, very likely. Famous Hollywood accounting and all that.
But again, if you're like Sonia or whatever, like some other director who's trying to get a movie made, you can't do this, probably, right? Like,
Oh, you were saying Saulnier?
Yeah.
For a second, I thought you thought that the studio was pronounced Sony, like the Japanese one that owns Columbia. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm just
Sony Picture Classics.
yeah.
It is. He does it the French way, right?
Sonny
He doesn't say
Vaio.
Saulnier, right? Am I wrong about this? Is this?
I don't know. Sure.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't keep up with him. I like the
Okay,
one.
well.
I like that civil asset seizure movie. What was that called? The one with
Rebel Ridge you're talking about?
with Don Johnson.
Yeah,
Rebel
it's
Ridge.
great.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun movie.
Fun.
But yeah, what do you think? What do you feel about this?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the moment in time, but I think it speaks to his, he's constantly experimenting, not only with technology and with, genre and a lot of things, but also distribution and just trying to, I think his retirement like that was probably brought upon by like a lethargy and just like a disinterest in that unpredictability of movie making and just wanting to really try and jumpstart things. So it makes sense that he would maybe tinker with every aspect of the production model. So I think, I don't know how viable it is with someone who's not Soderbergh or Ryan Coogler or, people that can negotiate. You know what I mean? Like these disruptive ways of doing stuff, which ultimately is what changes the industry. Because Hollywood would just do the same thing over and over again if it could. Yeah. And have
particularly people making the money would say, let's just keep doing this.
Let's just make 7,000 Marvel movies in a row.
Or the studio system of the, early Hollywood or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Coogler thing you're referring to, Glenn, is that Ryan Coogler negotiated for Sinners that the rights will revert to him in like 25 years or something like that.
20, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of remaining in the studio's library in perpetuity for them to just keep making money on. And there was a lot of hand wringing and a fair amount of it like crypto racist, I think, in character about how he's going to destroy the way Hollywood functions and being greedy and all this. By like, unnamed industry sources in stories in the Hollywood Report.
Yeah, I mean, Hollywood was built upon, white supremacy and white nationalism and
exploiting
anti-Semitism and exploiting all of the marginalized, pieces of society. So, I mean, I think, this is a long time coming for some sort of upheaval. But I think this was a small example of Soderbergh trying to riff off of the norm and, which is, I think, he's always trying to riff off of something and change it up.
And I think it is fair to say that he does seem to be bored about Seven. That maybe is part of his impulse, but that can be a good, innovative impulse to just say, like, let's just try something else. I don't know.
But what's interesting is that he, like with Full Frontal, like with the Girlfriend Experience, some of these other like early these experiments that he tries, he's just early. And he looks kind of foolish, and then basically has predicted the future. I'm gonna say right now that will not be the case with using AI to make the boats for his Spanish American War movie. But no. I think a lot of this had to do with like post-COVID like theater consolidation and stuff. But there are plenty of examples now of some like anime movie distributed by like Fathom Events that has no conventional marketing campaign that is like number 2 for the weekend. Broly is back in town or whatever.
Although, famously anime, I think an industry that is like constantly hemorrhaging money, and also at least in Japan, anime like the series are viewed as basically promotion for selling the manga, which is like where they actually make money. Really, just like kind of strange. Old-fashioned.
Then like Markiplier, the YouTube guy, he wrote and financed and directed and starred in a horror movie called Iron Lung that came out January of this year, was self-released and made $52 million.
Wow.
And that's That's a guy whose name is Markiplier, who got famous for playing Five Nights at Freddy's on the computer,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, and then, you know, to say nothing of the Angel Studios of it all and the faith-based things.
Right.
So I think Soderbergh is just like seeing the future a little bit, but has this kind of Cassandra experience where he can't
convince anybody else.
Wait.
Right. Oh,
and he can't convince anybody.
Yeah.
And he's proven wrong, but also like people get to say this guy's overreaching. Although the film, because they pre-sold all of it, I think only needed to make like $15 million at the box office to turn a profit, and I believe it did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, I'm sure it's been playing in the background on Amazon Prime Video like forever. Like, I'm sure it's made a ton of money back.
Yeah.
I would love to watch this on an airplane. This is like an ideal airplane movie. The stakes are
low
low.
on an airplane, actually. Now that you say
Yeah,
that,
it's engaging, but also like not going to make me anxious. You
yeah,
know?
if you have to cut it off halfway, it's like, well, I had a nice time. You know.
Yeah, I know what happens in that. So I've been trying to find. I think there was an episode of The Office with Jim O'Heir and David Denman where there was like an argument about whether Hilary Swank is hot, that she publicly said.
I think there is like they talk about Karate
true.
Kid stuff. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, but then also she went to the Chechen president's birthday party.
We talked about that in our season.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
She is fully doing a Clint Eastwood impression in this also, but it's like weird.
Big time. It's very.
But I think that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
Much like Uma Thurman in the Kill Bill movies.
But it doesn't
go back and watch it.
Doesn't not work. We haven't talked about the like tenor of the acting here. This is. I think that's part of what makes this film, right? Is that it leans so far into caricature that you can't really say like this isn't what people from the South are like. I don't think any humans are like this in real life.
This isn't what people are like. Yeah, they're all doing. They're kind of Bugs Bunny.
Especially Adam Driver and Daniel Craig. I mean,
I think Adam Driver, to my mind, is doing the exact accent of the younger Talladega Nights boy who says he's going to come at you like a spider monkey. He's doing the exact our mangy transient grandfather.
It sounds like from the 30s, like from like an actor in the 1930s.
It's like Sullivan's Travels or something.
Speaking to the complexity of this, I did try to do some research since I now feel like I've accidentally become the accent researcher of the podcast, even though I don't really like this, but I feel a responsibility. Nobody could agree on this. I had like two people from West Virginia arguing with each other, where one was saying like Daniel Craig sounds like my cousin, and the other one said that nobody in West Virginia sounds like this, and the only person in the film who does it well is Adam Driver. So I don't know. Seems like
interesting. Okay,
seems like maybe there's just a great. Also, speaking of diversity, like holler to holler differences in accent. So I don't know. And also maybe they were not doing it that consistently. So
they were all researching different parts of West Virginia.
Exactly. Yeah.
I do appreciate that this film, Soderbergh. Let's talk about the South. Let's transition from accents into southernness and American regional chauvinisms for a second.
Toilet lid tossing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, that did remind me. Bill Withers, the famous singer and songwriter, he was working at an airplane toilet seat factory in West Virginia when his first hit came out, and he stayed there until he had a second hit single because he wasn't convinced that music was going to take off. And that was in West Virginia. So
conservative position. I like it. Okay,
it's a toilet seat place.
Yeah,
I don't know. I did like that. I do want to play toilet seat horseshoes. That would be fun, I think. Expensive. Soderbergh is from the South. We've talked about this. He grew up in Louisiana. His LSU buddies are like work on his films, I think, to this day.
Still do sound
Logan
mixing
Lucky.
and stuff. Yeah. Yep.
And but he grew up like near LSU, and his dad was a professor, so he's from the kind of more diverse, more just experientially diverse part of the South than Hollywood typically depicts. And this film, we also get, the listeners to the show will know that I lived in Northern Virginia for 8 years, so I have kind of an experience of like how complicated the South is as a concept.
Yeah.
And this film plays into that because it takes place across West Virginia and
North
Carolina and a little bit of Virginia, I think, too, which are like, you know, West Virginia exists because it split off from the slave state of Virginia. West Virginia, of course, has this long storied history of union organizing, Harlan County, USA, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia is, like, I think some people there would identify more as Appalachia than as Southern.
Yeah.
And then there's you know, this kind of Southernness as an acquired identity that now I think has sort of permeated basically all of, like, non-cosmopolitan America. Like, I think you get, I don't know, we'd have to look at some, you know, archival footage, but I don't know if people in, like, for example, Petaluma, California, were talking like they were from the South if they weren't, like, city folk back in 1960. But now there is a feeling of, like, if you drive up the 5 freeway through Central California, people kind of act like they're, like, you're in Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, there's like big off-roading communities and people will hang Confederate flags and stuff. You're right. I mean, and then obviously voting patterns. So you're right. The South is the South is more an idea than a place. And also, there's, like, huge black communities in the South. And there's, you know, like the classic narrative of Hollywood. If you just drive through the South, it's immediately obvious of, like you're saying, this place is just more complex than.
Yeah, there's huge gay communities in the South. Yeah. There's obviously a lot of vampires. New Orleans is its own thing.
Yep.
So, Glenn, have you spent any time in the southern United States, the southeastern United States?
No, I've never lived there. I've only been to New Orleans once, so I don't have a lot of experience. But when I was looking at the film again and just thinking about the question that you guys just posed in terms of Soderbergh's southernness and also connecting it back to John Denver's song, I mean, I think the opening scene is really important.
Written by a guy from Massachusetts, by the way.
Yeah, to contextualize what Soderbergh's trying to say, I think, you know, the fact that the songwriters of that song, which has become so, you know, symbolic of a specific place we're not even from or hadn't even spent time from that place. Sometimes, like, artists can capture an essence that becomes, like, it kind of transcends their own experiences and becomes something else for people who've actually lived it. And I think there's an interesting correlation with what Soderbergh's trying to, you know, being from a more maybe diverse background and upbringing, trying to bring his own skill set to a story about people who've either through the curse or through, you know, economics have been kind of disenfranchised over the course of multiple generations. How can I create a film where they break that trend and, you know, like transcend this psychological self-destruction or self-defeating, which, you know, is played for in a silly way in the film, because he's blown out his leg, you know, she's lost an arm. And so connecting those circumstances makes sense for them because it creates a narrative around their failures. And I think the whole movie is about, you know, trying to switch that narrative in an audacious, but the whole outsider artist thing I think is really interesting. Like especially because the song is so important to the film and so important to the region. So I don't know if that is making any sense.
Yeah, it's one of 4 official national anthems of West Virginia, which, like, you guys might want to pare that down. I think 2 is probably fine. But
just the max.
But, like, I remember going to a Washington Capitals game, the hockey team, when I was in high school. And there was a moment during it where, like, Take Me Home Country Road started playing and everybody stood up and sang it together as if that happens at every Capitals game. And, like, Washington, D.C. is not contiguous with West Virginia. And it's not west of Virginia. It's like, you know, that's not far. You could go there for a day trip, but it's not like, I was baffled by this, and it's kind of like a universally beloved song. It's interesting that it was written by some people who were living in Maryland and then, like, from Massachusetts, but they decided Massachusetts didn't sound good in a song, so they changed it to West Virginia. And then the whole story about John Denver, like, buying it. They wanted to sell it to Johnny Cash, but decided to sell it. Like, Denver basically wouldn't take no for an answer. There's a story about him performing it with with Fat City, the group that wrote it. They're all singing off a piece of loose leaf paper where they'd written the lyrics and supposedly got a 5-minute standing ovation. I'm surprised people were sitting before that.
Sure.
I don't know. It doesn't always add up.
I mean, I do think the song is just great, and I guess I would put it in the same category of this movie of like this type of song, not country folk, but like this, like you're saying, very consciously referential song is not something I would normally say that I enjoy, but just the framing of it, the poetry of it is very effective. To your point, Glenn, I do think it's interesting to say if this is all kind of constructed, like the identity is constructed, and we also see obviously the NASCAR stuff. Speaking of Soderbergh B-roll, I think is like a very fast montage that works really well in saying like, this is all pageantry. This is all like, this is NASCAR, something that was invented in the mid 20th century and is itself kind of a lie about, this. I like the idea of saying like, we just use streetcars, but now they absolutely don't use streetcars, and it makes $1.7 billion a year or something.
It grew out of this grew out of moonshiners showing off how fast they could outrun the cops, but now it is like the most conservative, like authority aligned of all the major sports leagues.
But the fans of it are also people like the stepdad in the film, who is like a used car lot impresario. I don't know. He has like a big shitty McMansion. So I mean, even that speaks to this breadth of identities that kind of latch on to this greater kind of nebulous force that they identify as the South. But you're right. I think the more potent, even if it is kind of silly part of this movie, is that you can be somebody who works at Lowe's, and it is kind of demonstrative in the movie. But I just gotta say, it's nice to have a main character who works at Lowe's, and it's not like totally a punchline. He says like he says it's seasonal, but I hope they give me a permanent position. Like it would be great to work at Lowe's. I don't know.
Glenn, to your point about Tatum taking on the kind of Clooney mantle, he's obviously like somewhere between a Jack Foley from Out of Sight and a Danny Ocean, where he's like, he can be the punchline. He can be kind of foolish and silly, but he's also very clearly just like really smart and thinking ahead of everybody and able to play roles and trick the right people. And basically like, his story of playing football and blowing his knee out, and his brother's story of of losing an arm in Iraq. And there's the whole thing about like Pawpaw's diamond. Like they're all stories of like people being extracted from, right? Like literally his arm is extracted, and we can see it extracted again by the machine that's sucking up the money. It sucks up his arm too.
And I mean, look, here's also Adam Driver. He plays like deeply upset so well. I mean, it's part of, I think, some of his greatest roles.
It's got to be his hair too. Like
he goes really quiet, and he's just like getting into the machine. I
think we need more. Like Driver to me is really the heir apparent to De Niro, in that you could just plug him into a comedy and have him do exactly the same thing as he would do in a drama, and it's really funny.
Or I was thinking like Cassavetes or something, where like it's just like
sure.
There's like a reality to him that's like kind of upsetting in a comedy.
Yeah. Yes, I think you're right there. But there's like a and even more than Ocean's 11, where they're all this kind of like slick, cool, professional thieves who we like because they're charming. Here we really get a sense that they have been taken from. They have been like the hills of West Virginia. They have like literally had their most valuable parts like removed from them by big rich companies, big and rich singers.
I forgot to mention, but just to support your point there, that the construction guys who are working on these sinkholes underneath the speedway are all like ex-mining construction guys who presumably are just out of work because coal miners, are closing down.
So they have he has this like real sense of a pride in getting one over on NASCAR, and even like the North Carolina versus West Virginia thing. Whereas in Ocean's 11, Terry Benedict, obviously, he's a dickhead.
Right.
But, and he took Danny's wife. But like, that's not quite the same
Danny
as
and Rusty
as
aren't suffering from exploitation, at least
exacting like
visibly,
a generational revenge kind of a thing.
Yeah, this is more of a con over to pull one over on an idea, on an institution, on a systemic structure that going back to Tatum just for a second.
Sure, yeah.
He has to, like, performance-wise throughout the film, he has to kind of pull back as the film unfolds, and he's actually not in the movie all that much. I mean, like, in the sense that we would expect, because I think the more that the film unfolds, the more he has to keep hidden and secret until the end. So it's actually becomes Daniel Craig's movie, Adam Driver's movie in that middle section. Keogh's. And Tatum has to like take a step back, and I think it's a brilliant move, not only on the script's part, but like Tatum's more than game to just be like the orchestrator. And I think like every great director makes one film about directing, throughout their career.
Yeah.
And I think this is his, like, I'm a director, I'm bringing all these people together, just like Tatum brings all these people together for kind of a messy experiment and a messy kind of like, let's see what happens. And, the artistry of it all being this kind of the Soderbergh stand-in, like he has to take a step back and let the team that he has brought together do their work. And I think he's always getting frustrated with them too, like, which I think is really funny. Like, as you learn more about it, like, he's like, don't worry about the arm or the hand. Like, we'll get it.
Right.
Like, he's trying to keep everybody on task, which is, in. You're supposed to meet me here. Like, I think a normal director would have left all that stuff out. But I think in this movie, it's just like, it shows you how close he is to maybe feeling like that failure is going to become a reality. And he's like, as a director, and if you're in charge of anything, a film festival, a movie, whatever, you're teetering on collapse at all times. You're only as strong as the people that you've, recruited to help you out. So I think it's a really interesting riff off the Ocean stuff, which is like, these are obviously stars. These are obviously people that are super classy and super,
like preternaturally capable and stuff. And I mean, because you're even Channing Tatum's character at the beginning of the film, his brother says like, well, I can tell you put a lot of time into this list and you're normally not organized. So I'm gonna leave. Like, it doesn't make him feel like he is really this mastermind. It's sort of like, this is like an exception even for him to be able to put something like this together.
This is ambition that he's not showing.
Exactly. Yeah,
for sure. So I just love that aspect of it.
And then to connect it to the sort of like crew quality of the faceless, nameless people who make something happen, we have the people at the prison who we haven't really talked about, who also facilitate this.
We should talk about that.
Yeah.
First of all, shout out Dwight Yoakam.
Man,
we've
had him in two seasons. Every time I see him on screen, I hope he is deciding not to act, because
Cry Macho star Dwight Yoakam.
He should be in any movie that he wants to be in. I think he's so good.
I went to see Dwight Yoakam and Emmylou Harris at the Hollywood Bowl. Yeah. And then she came out on stage and sang songs with him, and so I think that might be one of the reasons that he isn't in more movies, because
that's fine.
He can just do that.
Yeah, if he wants to do that's great. Yeah, I'm happy for him. That's cool.
He's like a rock star,
Right.
Well, he's an important part of this movie because he speaks to the ego of like not wanting your failures to get out.
Same
thing with like the racing company who doesn't want to disclose how much money. Like, so I think he's playing off of all of this like institutional masculinity that is like, I cannot show failure.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's one of the bosses.
Yeah, the bosses.
So this is I was trying to track. He calls it's Moore County Prison, right? That's what he keeps saying.
Monroe, I think Monroe.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't have a state in Monroe.
yeah, Monroe County. So he's the we've talked about a lot of figures like this, the Southern prison warden, who is just like the most evil person you can even imagine.
Yep.
And a crucial part of their plan is getting Adam Driver into jail so that he and Joe Bang can break out of jail briefly for the heist and then back into jail as part of the alibi. Incidentally, just this very quickly, there was a law introduced into the Senate in 2024. I don't think that it passed. There's laws on the books in California, but there there was a lot trying to limit the markup that prisons can put on food in the vending machines because the markup is often like 200 to 600% of standard markup, not even the wholesale
production.
cost.
I mean, this is,
just
people
insane.
should look into commissary if you're ever confused about.
J-Pay.
Yeah, exactly. Why can't people at least just have like Fritos or whatever? It's because Fritos cost like $18 to buy a bag or something.
Right. But luckily, we were all going to be living in a kind of nationwide prison system soon.
Yeah.
But they need to break out in order to facilitate this. Joe Bang, I think, pretty smoothly orchestrates a riot, a kind of uprising in the prison cafeteria to distract the prison guards from what's going on with Joe Bang and Clyde Logan in another part of the infirmary. And there's not a lot of attention brought to it, but especially considering like some of Soderbergh's earlier prison stuff, like in Ocean's 11, or sorry, in Out of Sight. We just have like a very easy like interracial coalition of guys pulling a scheme to fuck over the warden.
Else,
right?
If you're gonna pull a riot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. The real solidarity, the Du Bois style, like poor whites need to realize. Yeah.
The dream of Fred Hampton is alive in this fake prison.
Yep.
And it goes off without a hitch. And they very like efficiently cover the windows. It's just cool to see how good they are at this.
And it's like so much of the film very low tech. There's not, they don't plan this with like a mirror shining off something. They just
don't have an EMP device.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they have trays and tinfoil because like the guys working in the kitchen would know how to do that.
Well, it shows the power of disruption too, like you just said.
Exactly.
When forces are combined and everyone's aligned together, like you really can disrupt these larger institutions. And I think there's examples of that throughout. I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, this is such a weird performance from Daniel Craig too. I think we'd be remiss as not to, because that was what really struck me when I watched it the first time. I was like, oh my God.
This is also, I mean,
that was the big, that was a lot of the marketing.
What's
to the degree that it had marketing. That's a good question. I think it was the same year as Knives Out.
Is this 20? Oh, no, it's a couple years before.
I thought it was before.
Yeah.
Knives Out was a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this was such a huge shift for him, who'd been, like Layer Cake, Bond, like all these very
pretty recently Bonds. Yep.
The girl with the dragon tattoo, like that sort of thing. Like, I mean, it was such a like nice shift, and it reminded me of just how most of these great actors can probably do anything.
I remember having the feeling, because it's after a couple years after Spectre, and he was famously like publicly unhappy about having to be James Bond.
Yeah.
And this really felt like there's like a palpable joy, I think, in Daniel Craig just being weird and doing whatever he wants. I think Soderbergh supposously told him he could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, like he dyed his own hair and sent a picture to Soderbergh, and Soderbergh says like, looks great, let's do it. But I think also, I don't know, this is the charm of cutting out the studio system, and obviously maybe not reproducible, but Soderbergh said that he didn't have to do promo if he didn't want to, which is just a nice thing to offer.
Because he like hates doing it.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't know.
But the marketing was like all Daniel Craig is Foghorn Leghorn in Logan Lucky.
Yeah.
Like that was all everybody was talking about.
Yeah. They all just seem so at peace in this movie.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Like,
they seem like they're having fun.
It culminates in that last scene, which I definitely wanted to talk to you guys about. Eventually, I don't know if we're there yet.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, because I mean, it does have that culmination at the end where you realize that he's been 3 steps ahead of the law, 3 steps ahead of anybody else, and he's finally been able to, the funny thing about his cell phone being turned off or not being tracked anymore. I mean,
right.
All these little details, and they meet up at the bar, which is aptly named duct tape. The glue that keeps everybody together. Yeah. And I think that's the space, right, that they've all been wanting to get to. escaped the prison of literal prison. They've escaped the prison of working. They've escaped all these other places. And they're finally, you see each character there in that classic, Ocean's style. But they're all having these funny conversations together. And they've been paired up. You can see that they've been paired up in a funny way.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they haven't ended up at like George Clooney's house on Lake Como, though. They've just ended up in like the place they've always been, but a lot of their problems have gone away.
But I like that as like if we're talking about a political reading, as like the thing that matters about that victory is like the feeling of it. And also we could say that they do have an increased security in their lives financially now, but you're right. It doesn't require people to be in a northern Italian lake. And I mean, even the moments when Naaman, the prison guy who helped start the riot, he gets like a limousine ride pickup when he gets out of prison, which is nice, but it probably costs like $100 or something. But it's like,
it's the gesture almost.
Exactly. But I mean, that's even cooler than seeing the characters in Ocean's 12 who all have like mansions now or something, It's just nice to say like, this is...
I mean, it's funny in Ocean's 12 how it all comes crashing down on them almost immediately, but sort of in a meta way to like give us a reason for the movie to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas here you care more about these. Like, it would be sad if they if they all ended up like Rocky and Rocky Balboa, where they take his money away for dramatic purposes,
Well, and it also gives Hilary Swank's Clint Eastwood an opportunity to stake them out, because she's the dog who just cannot shake the, or whatever the terminology is. A dog with a bone kind of can't let it go. Because she knows something is amiss and she knows who did it, but she can't
tell something's up.
It's always made me wonder. I was always hoping that he would try to do a sequel to this movie, but I know that probably would never happen. But along the Ocean's trilogy, like, I thought maybe he would find these characters interesting enough to return to.
I'm surprised that they didn't do like a Zoom, like a Father of the Bride 3 thing where they're all just on a Zoom call together during COVID.
Can always hope for that.
He was busy planning for the Oscars. Just a couple spare little podcasty for me bits of research.
Yeah.
I was looking into prosthetic costs and how many people in the VA. Yeah. So an advanced prosthetic with like computer stuff that lets you, manipulate the digits and stuff, they vary in cost obviously by size, but let's say $50,000 about the average cost of those. So by the end of 2026, if we extrapolate out from the numbers that the government has actually given us, which are definitely low, by the end of 2026, the U.S. will probably spend about as much on the murder of Iranian schoolgirls as it would take to provide state-of-the-art computerized prosthetics, not just every veteran who needs one, but to literally everyone in the U.S. who is missing a limb.
Yeah. Yep.
So just a sort of a sense of like...
proportion,
the proportion of where money is and isn't going. So that's cool. That made me mad. As always, I mean, I've said this before, but everybody should check out the work of Phillip Vance Smith II, who is an incarcerated journalist in North Carolina, actually.
Has a Substack or a kind of
he has a great Substack that I subscribe to. Prison Life Unlocked is the name of his Substack. He publishes there and also in like major publications, and of course is like treated poorly by the prison where he is incarcerated, despite doing everything right as defined by but because he writes about poor conditions within prisons, he's like treated as a troublemaker. Great writer. He's written some stuff for Film Comment about the practice of watching films in prison, which I think is vitally important for anybody who's interested in movies. But
very cool.
Has talked about all kinds of stuff. So check his work out. Phillip Vance Smith II. Another interesting bit that we don't really have time to get into, but Curtis Taylor was the early NASCAR, the early racing star, and like lumber heir. He was like, he grew up rich. Who is the guy who decided to build the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it has sinkhole problems. Like he built it in like the worst place he could, and because of that, construction took like way longer than anticipated and cost way more. And at one point, the contractors halted work because they hadn't been paid, and they like blocked the parking lot with bulldozers and stuff. And he supposedly came out with a shotgun to force them to go back to work. One of these stories that there's a million versions of. But then, as part of that, the Teamsters offered him an $800,000 loan to help with the construction in exchange for his assistance establishing what would have been the first, basically, athletes union in NASCAR, which they wanted to call, it didn't end up happening, they wanted to call it the Federation of Professional Athletes. Jimmy Hoffa was involved in this. And they were going to like offer pensions and insurance scholarship for the children of race car drivers whose car exploded at their job, and like negotiate media rights and stuff. That didn't happen. There have been a number of efforts to organize NASCAR drivers, one of which is still technically happening, or still technically like
in process.
Extant.
Yeah.
It's called the where did it go here? It's called the Race Team Alliance. It's 15 like NASCAR teams are involved in it, so it's sort of complicated because it's more like the teams versus like league ownership as opposed to individual athletes versus league ownership. And so there's some criticism of it, obviously from the big guys in charge, but then also from some smaller teams who find it kind of exclusive of their input. But I think NASCAR is sort of fascinating as like the only major sports league in the U.S. that basically isn't also a vector for exploiting people of color, because it's like almost exclusively white.
I mean, it is weird.
An interesting thing. Yeah.
I was also, I don't have to get into it, but I was trying to understand like the carbon footprint of NASCAR, which I will say a single race is actually not that bad and maybe should be eye-opening just for us as Americans or something, because actually the race where 40 cars drive like 500 miles or whatever is like the carbon footprint of like 3 Americans or something in a year. So it's not, it's not that different from, but like so many things in the United States and in the world, the secret cost is moving these cars around the United States, which has a carbon footprint of like 12,000 tons or something. So, that's
well, then, I mean, they're absolutely tearing up Moo Meadows. A lot of them are hitting those cows as they go back
Rainbow
and forth.
Road's been devastated.
The particulate matter coming off the tires on Rainbow Road, it just collects in the, Also, do you guys happen to know this? I found this interesting. Do you happen to know what NASCAR stands for?
I do, yeah, I saw this.
No, I don't.
National Biscuit Company?
I think I read the wrong article.
Yeah, you might have seen the wrong one.
Yeah.
Hey, learn to drive, dickhead.
Oh, Kimmy's
no, you've been on the road for an hour now. Where are you driving from, Kimmy? I guess you went
This idiot's going like 35 on the goddamn freeway.
Okay. You are because you're becoming human. This is beautiful.
Beep, beep, motherfucker.
So is the Kimmy episode going to be all Kimmy?
We've asked Kimmy that too. We're trying to figure out how much she can be present in the episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really hope she's available.
I hope so too. She's busy though. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm still gonna be on the road.
Oh, yeah. Damn, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good joke for everybody.
Yeah, that's fun. You could call in. Do we have any stray thoughts or maybe final analysis of the film Logan Lucky?
I think for me, like just the fact that it doesn't always make sense too, like the script.
Yeah,
sure.
There's some obvious holes and just like, the fact that he has to keep so much from everybody that we kind of just accept.
How did they know that they would bring the birthday cake into the vault? That's such a bizarre plot hole that I'm not mad at it, because it's just like...
And it's just a setup for the same thing from Ocean's 13 where they get to be nice to somebody that they were mean to in the heist.
Exactly.
Right? Like in the cockroaches.
Right.
Like, why are they pink? Or I guess it's deciding which one gets in, right? Like
to figure out which tube is which. But yeah. And nobody in there was like, hey, do these cockroaches look like they've been marked?
And then what's the point of the bomb? Because the bomb just goes off and creates the smoke, which you think is the smoke that they see, but it's really the guy smoking. So, like, what's the point of the bomb? Like, why can't they just suck the money out?
Yeah, that's.
I was
that also
I'll be
doesn't.
honest, I was
make a
going
lot
through
of
the
sense.
same because I was thinking, well, they needed to mess up the tube, but they already seem to have that tube isolated, like they've already set up the situation with the tube.
It cuts to
if
them,
you can just
sucking the money out.
Yeah. It seems the more
they don't
significant
get
explosion
into
is the
it.
one where they take out the credit card. Like that thing makes sense to me because they're trying to get like heavy
That's a
cash.
pretty good stunt too. Like the timing.
I was thinking that
between,
Jack Quaid is close to the fire if it's a real pyrotechnics. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just so many gaps in the logic of it all.
Panache.
It's just
Yeah.
It's all panache, that's when you put the chocolate on like a double boiler, right? Put a little cream in there or something.
Marie, yeah.
Chocolate panache.
Chocolate panache. Hey, and that's the kind of stuff that his daughter's getting into at the end of the film. She's she's put away pageantry and now she's on to haute cuisine, which I like that. That's in keeping with this kind of like, people in the South can have any kind of interests and fixations.
It's also recognizing that how destructive maybe this is, and maybe I should do something that's a little bit more, setting myself up for independence and strength. And,
but without being
financial sustainability.
Horrific about the dance moms of it all. I end up driving past the JoJo Siwa's dance studio all the time because it's in between where I live and a bunch of stuff I have to go to, and it upsets me. She wasn't Toddlers and Tiaras, but I think Dance Moms is like basically the same thing. Right?
I think so too. And I think one of my only final comments is, Glenn, I'm with you that I think on rewatch, the father relationship stands out to me much more as something that the movie is trying to write a very difficult line about, where like he is cool and funny, but he's not like a super dad, right? It's not like he does everything right, but they obviously have a nice relationship. And it's a reminder that parenting is also just like trying to be, like a person with your child and talk to them about their interests, and also like push back on things that you think are bad, saying that we don't have to say that everybody who's is different weight than you is like less valuable to society or something. He's just trying to be nice, but not in a, I don't know, it's imperfect to me. I like the
I love that too. And
roughness.
his one screw up is that he didn't come to pick her up right at the beginning of the film.
Right.
I think he's constantly fighting just to be present with her in those moments. And I think that's why the film begins with those two together. Like it's just kind of the foreshadowing
begins
of what
ends,
he wants more of, So
he's got something to fight for, unlike Danny Ocean, who's kind of like in it for himself, and Tess less so. But I think this is like, both in style and in people involved and subject matter theme. I think this film for me represents a kind of like synthesis of Ocean's 11 and Magic Mike. The melding of the style and the sort of slickness and getting one over on the big guys kind of aspects of Ocean's 11 with the more human relationship and diversity of the South stuff from Magic Mike, the kind of economic precarity stuff from Magic Mike, in a way that I like a lot.
He's been fascinated with money for a long time, and just what it does to us or what it affords us.
Right. And how you could use generative AI to not have to pay it to
that's something you've become interested in very recently.
Well, there's nobody's perfect. I mean, as a lot of people are saying.
Yeah, and look, some of the other research I was trying to do for this is like sometimes it is difficult because even in these coal towns, like trying to figure out what people's options are. I mean, robbery might be a good option for people because the alternatives are like, I was reading about this place called Daint, spelled like Dante, where they are switching to like evil does not exist style ecotourism that it, to me at least in the Guardian article, was like, this is just trading one type of kind of exploitation and non-sustainable industry for another, because they're like, you know, I mean, I think it's better than tearing coal out of the earth, obviously, but
and literally like decapitating mountains.
Exactly. But it still feels like, you know, now you have to sell this place to rich people for a different reason, right? That any tourism based economy is sort of like dependent on a class above you existing and wanting to descend to your little hamlet.
You're serving other people who want to come visit the place where you can't leave.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. So I don't know. Steal from NASCAR or
steal from NASCAR, steal from your boss.
Yeah.
I like that I don't even think they have guns at any point in this film.
No, that is cool. Yep.
Yeah.
They're just being sneaky.
I don't believe they do.
Which is, and not to say that there's no use for a firearm in revolutionary struggle. I just mean, you don't have to. There's lots of different ways you can rob a NASCAR track. Bowser's Castle, man, we got to get in there. He's got vaults. You know he's got vaults.
Tubes. He got a lot of tubes in his
He
kingdom.
does have a lot of tubes. Pneumatic tubes are cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Man. We got to bring those back.
That's the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is the tubes, the cash highway, and the physical highway. Like just kind of like being a thing, which I love.
Highways.
That's nice.
Highways.
Crossing state lines, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Arteries of capital.
Yep.
Also, they shot this because they shot this mostly in Georgia. The lady who plays the purple lady, she's in juror number 2 also. She's like,
good
just
finds.
a small role in juror number 2. Yeah. So worlds are colliding.
The scene stealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did either of you see Roofman?
I haven't seen Roofman yet. No.
Okay. Roofman's charming. I liked Roofman. The Roofman pretty early on breaks out of prison in exactly the same way. Like in the wood shop, builds a platform that looks like the underside of a van.
Okay.
It's really odd.
Tatum was probably like, I got an idea for you.
Something just occurred to me.
But I wonder if this script was based on the real guy that Roofman is based. Like if that idea maybe came from the stories about that guy.
Probably.
We also haven't mentioned Rebecca Blunt, obviously a pseudonym for somebody, not Soderbergh. They haven't confirmed. I don't know. Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
I think, you know who I think it probably is Felicity Blunt, Emily's sister, who's married to Stanley Tucci. Because like if you were going to do a pseudonym, why wouldn't you just
that would put people off the scent for sure.
Keep your last name, yeah. Well, she wouldn't be. No one would be so silly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's about going to do it for our.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more thing we got to do before we close things up. This is, of course, Popcornopolis. Kimmy, if you're not stuck in traffic, can you cue this one up for us?
This is Popcornopolis, the segment where we ask our guest, do you like popcorn?
Glenn, do you like popcorn?
I do.
Yeah? Do you have preferences? Do you have
context? Yeah.
Yeah.
So at home, sometimes we pop the kernels, like just buy like regular kernels and pop it ourselves.
Yeah.
Like the air dry, whatever is air pop thing. I don't
like on the stove, like at the beginning of Scream, or
like a popper.
Oh, you got a machine.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
I have fond memories. My parents used to do that, and we'd watch movies at night. So I'm trying to kind of do that at home every once in a while.
Yeah.
But so I don't like the bag popcorn, but I do love movie theater popcorn.
They're different beasts. I get it.
Grew up with movie theater popcorn, just being at films all the time. So large Coke, large popcorn type guy.
I mean, of course.
Beautiful.
That's
exit with stains all over my shirt.
Of course, like ruining every single.
Yeah.
That's a classic for me. We haven't talked about the grease damage. Yeah, the great grease wars.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
Probably during our Lanthimos series, we'll get into kind of the austerity and the damage that caused. Hey, come on. Hey, we're having fun here.
Yeah.
Ian, you on any popcorn shit lately?
I don't think I'm on any popcorn shit, but I am enjoying the idea of. I mean, Glenn, eating something like that with children is sort of like stealing their essence. That's the real adrenochrome, I think, is like realizing that they're so excited about something, and like now I get to kind of hop on. Yeah. That's cool.
I mean, to quote, who says this? Wait, let me make sure that I. To quote to quote Janae Aiko, I'm eating the booty like groceries. Pirate's booty, that is, that I get from the grocery store.
Okay.
I'm on a real pirate's booty kick at the moment.
Interesting.
Really
old
enjoying
school.
the crunch of this delicious treat, and they got a new thing that is pirate's booty cheddar blast, which, as far as I can tell, is just extra powder.
I was gonna say, what is the original flavor of pirate's booty?
It's literally
just double
like,
cheese.
Yeah, it's just like they turned it up. They cranked it up.
Double powder.
Like we're talking about with Soderbergh, that can be a different flavor if you just do twice as much as something.
Yes, that is true. Logan Luckier.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See, there's a sequel right there. Good.
It's not. It's kind of clunky, but maybe Logan
Clunky.
Logan. Fuck.
Or Lucky Logan.
Well,
there you go.
And then Logan's lucky, like aliens, and he's
sure, yep.
Except there were already multiple Logans in this first one.
Yeah. We managed not to talk about Logan Mucklunky, by which I mean the Soderbergh's Star Wars movie he didn't make with
Adam Driver. I guess
Adam Driver,
probably
the Star Wars, the mysterious Kyle, or whatever it was going to be called, the Hunt for Ben Solo.
Yeah,
yeah.
Another famous guy with a cool prosthetic hand, Anakin Skywalker.
Yep,
and Luke. They both have
Luke.
that.
Oh my God!
Don't you think? Don't you think he has one?
Now he does.
Anyway, he does now. Yeah. Well, Glenn, thank you so much for coming back on the show. What a delight to have you.
Thank you, Glenn. Yes, great to have you
is there anything you'd like to plug? Ian mentioned Evil Does Not Exist, which is a film that I saw.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even make that connection. That's right.
San Diego.
A long time ago, yeah, no. It was a few years ago.
Asian American Film Festival. Do I have the...
San Diego Asian Film Festival, yeah.
The Asian Film Festival. Yeah, it's not Asian American because
we just finished our spring showcase this past weekend, so that one's in the rearview mirror.
Very cool.
We've got the festival in November coming up, and weekly films screening at the Digital Gym Cinema that we program. So, yeah. Oh, I guess one cool thing is we're partnering with the American Cinematheque in early June to do Bleak Week. We're doing our own Bleak Week.
Very
nice.
Cool.
So down there.
Yeah.
Is that announced? So you're still programming?
Yeah. It's on the website. We're doing. I programmed Don't Look Now, Nicholas Roeg's real heartwarming film. It's all
beautiful father-daughter movie. Yep.
Exactly. But the one that you probably haven't heard of that I think is one of my top, films of all time is I don't know if you're familiar with Alan King, the Canadian director who had an Eclipse box set in Criterion, maybe like
I don't think so.
No. His masterpiece, Dying at Grace, which is like a 3-hour Wiseman style film at this I think Canadian hospital for cancer patients is like one of the great films of all time. So we're actually showing that twice, and that's never shown. So it's going to be fun.
Really cool.
Do some intros.
All right, rare stuff. Yeah.
So
listeners in San Diego, get out.
Where do people go to get tickets and stuff?
DigitalGym.org is the actually that might be wrong.
Yeah, let's get that right.
DigitalGym.org. I was going to say DigitalGymCinema.org, but no, it's DigitalGym.org. And all of the future screenings are on the website. If you just scroll down, you kind of see on the calendar. So and that's fun. That's
GYM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, GYM.
Not like Earthworm, the other Digital Gym.
No,
not JIM or Digital Gym.
This looks
sweet.
Great.
Yeah. Everybody check that out. Ian probably going to go to both screenings of the movie about people dying. It seems like his kind of thing. For us, remember to subscribe, rate us, write a review. It helps us on the algorithm. If you like the show, tell a friend, tell your dad, write it in chalk on the inside of a thing you're robbing. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Podcasty for me. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you're interested in co-hosting a 2-person Steven Soderbergh podcast, you can email us at podcastyforme@gmail.com. All of this is at podcastyforme.com and shootingyourselfinthehead.com. Thank you to Jeremy Allison for our artwork. We will be back next week with... we'll be back in 2 weeks with our episode on Mosaic. If you cannot wait that long, go on over to patreon.com/podcastyforme and listen to our episode on Open Range, unless you're Glenn, because it sounds like you liked it. And we had a different experience.
I'm a big fan of that movie, but again, I have not seen it in about 10 years, so, Yeah.
Look, also, I would just say,
I remember the ending. That's kind of all I remember. It's the shootout.
It's an exciting, but I would also say, look, one of the great things about having people on this podcast is listen to other people besides us. All of our smart guests who disagree with us, there's a reason that we have them on here. So,
Motherfucker, I will kill you if you don't go faster.
Kimmy, you have to stop.
Kimmy, you
getting so upset.
Cool it.
Bye. Yeah, bye, Kimmy. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. See ya.